I'm Jim Jepsen. My family and I farm in southern Fairfield County. Small diversified farm. We have beef cows. We grain farm as well, corn, soybeans, wheat. Used to grow oats and spelts and anything to feed livestock with. And farm about 1,350 acres now. 2/3 of it is rented ground. I guess technically I'm a third generation farmer, but I'm first generation to do it full time. My dad had a nice farm, grew up on 83 acres.
Jim is one of those kind of quiet guys, but he's very deserving of this. Like I said, he puts things in place, other people see it. A lot of the farms that he implements practices on, he'll call me and say, hey, I'm renting this and I've talked the landowner into letting me do this practice. So I want to put it in place. Can you help me? And we take off from there. He has a whole entire family that's involved in ag. His wife is, the state ag safety health professor, and his daughters are both working in ag. So I think he sets an example for not only his family, but his neighbors and other farmers too.
I owe a lot to my VOAG teachers and stuff. They just cultivated the passion that I already had growing up on the farm to do this full time. And when I still remember the day or the week before I graduated from high school, I had no other plans but to start full-time farming. The day after I graduated, I was going to be a farmer. And I didn't know how. I didn't have any money. But I had no other passion. That's all I ever wanted to do. And my mom told me, she said, Jim, that's fine. You can do that after you go to college. The best thing about going to college, that's where I met my wife. I met my wife, Dee, there. So we were dealing with urban sprawl then, and we couldn't find a little farm up close to my mom and dad's place. So we had to go 10 miles south to find a little place. And it was a bit run down at the time, but it's all we could afford. And we're like, well, this will just be a starter place, and then we'll add on from there. And 35 years later, we're still here. We went out and bought 36 bred Dorset ewes. And that was the start of our livestock advancement. And that turned into, in a pretty short order, 120 ewes. And then we also had, we were probably up to 40 or 50 cows at that time, and probably only 300 or 400 acres of crop ground at that time. Where we live down south here is mostly the cows, cattle and pasture. And 10 miles north of here, where my grain bins and my shop and my dad's place are, is where most of the rented ground is that we crop farm. I believe by the end of my third 3-year term here, I will have spent, 15 years, I guess, of my career on the Ohio Cattlemen's Board. I became involved to try to learn more myself. And as you become involved, you realize how much you actually have to be an advocate and teach other folks as well.
He has done a lot of grazing practices. We've done heavy use area protection pads, livestock pipelines, watering facilities. We've done some water and sediment control basins, grass waterways, grade stabilization structures, filter strips, cover crops, conservation tillage, and crop rotation, and we've done a lot of tile plans.
Or I couldn't make no-till work the first year. It took me about 3 years to really start seeing the benefits of no-tilling. It just took that long to start developing soil structure that would start to work. You see the earthworms starting to work. You see organic matter starting to build. And They don't make any more land. What we have is what we will ever have, and if we don't take care of it, we don't want to see it wash away. We don't want to see it blow away. So we just take care of it the best that we can. I transitioned so fast away from the ideas of plowing and seeing. I always want to see something, if possible, something growing. So the spring of 1991 then is actually when I quit my off the farm job and started farming full time. And it's not just a job. I've had jobs. This is a lifestyle. It's a way of life.